Everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. It's me, Vinod, recording from the editor's suite. Why am I sitting and recording here? Anand seems to be using the studio today, and I have no option but to record from here. I know my team gets me in sitting in some weird places to sit and get a video out to you guys. So kudos to them for catching me and making sure there's a camera somewhere for me to sit in front of and get a video out to you. So for that, I'm very grateful to have such a supportive team and understanding team to get these videos done for you guys. So what did I want to talk about today? First, let's have a brief situation analysis of what's happening globally speaking. So we get a macroeconomic view before we dive into what is happening in India. As far as the tariffs are concerned, Donald Trump seems to be in a situation where his back is against the wall, like I've been speaking in the last few videos, and he seems to be giving more and more concessions, then looking more and more sanctions on these tariffs. But that said, the relief now seems to have come to an end, is what he's saying. But if you look at it in the other side, he seems to be having given up more ground than he initially wanted to. All this has led to a lot more confusion on what is applicable, how much is applicable, and even like I said in the last video, if you remove all these tariffs he has recently spoken about, we still have something like 24-27% tariff on all goods entering the US right now anyways. So where this will lead us, we'll have to wait and watch. All that is certain is there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, there's a lot of confusion in the market, and can't do anything about it but live with it. We are very small retail investors sitting in India trying to make a living out of investing little by little so that in the future, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, we can amass enough wealth that we can live comfortably and retire comfortably. That being said, it is very, very clear the situation globally speaking for people who in their mid-40s and above, in their early 50s, situation is going to get much, much harder for you guys. People are being forced into early retirement. There are huge layoffs going. VRFs is being offered. Some of it is thanks to the Trump tariffs and the recession fears which are coming. Some of it is thanks to the change in AI coming into the market. All this is unfolding rapidly. So if you have not been looking at something as investing or thinking of investing for something and you're reaching this point in your life, I strongly urge you to look into investing and saving. Even if you are in a situation where your job is very secure and you're feeling very safe, I would still strongly recommend that you invest and you start putting something aside. So even a lot of entrepreneurs have come out in Indian media and have been strongly encouraging people to relook at their lives and to mentally prepare for this change which is coming, this huge onslaught of change which is coming. Google has announced layoff. Dr. Reddy seems to be doing some kind of layoff. We do not know. Something was said in the press and then they've retracted it, saying it's not like a layoff, it is like a VRS, it is voluntary and there is no forced layoffs. I don't know, it sounds mixed signal to me, but what is very apparent is jobs are rapidly disappearing. Some of it, like I said, thanks to the change in dynamics in the market, some of it thanks to AI, a lot of it seems to be thanks to what Trump is doing with the tariffs. Even when you're talking about IT jobs, if you don't take AI into consideration, with the contracts being cancelled in the US by the American government itself, yes, the argument is that it's directly not into Indian companies. These are like Accenture, Deloitte and other. But a lot of these contracts are cut into pieces and they're sent out to other companies in turn. So you really do not know how far this impact is going to be. So keep all this in mind. Okay, it's not a time to panic. It is not a time to worry. It's just time to start. It's time to start planning your finances. Look these things deep and hard. If you have a lot of EMIs, try to see which EMIs you can probably foreclose or, try and pay double installments and try to move it along. Other than home loan EMIs, I would say all other EMIs should be off your table. Don't even keep any gold loans on your table. Try and remove them, because the reason why I'm saying gold loan though is a very cheap loan. To remove it is if you have placed physical gold as a collateral for these loans, and in case you're not able to pay these loans back thanks to some change in your situation, you will feel emotionally quite damaged if you're not able to close the loan and get your jewels back. Anyway, this is something which I wanted to get off my chest before I dive into what I did today. Today, me personally, I went to the Indian market, Tiffin Coffee range. I bought some Tata Motors, I bought some Natco. Yes, maybe it was on the green when I bought it. I'm not worried about it. I'm looking at it in long term. They're at value right now, so I decided to buy it. IndusInd Bank was something I thought of doing, but IndusInd Bank seems to have broken the gates and zoomed today by 6-7%. So I had a bit of a hesitation. And when I looked at my value of what all is there on value, these seemed most value to me. So I decided to buy into these stocks for me for today in Tiffin Coffee range. This kind of volatility which you saw in the market will continue. It is not going to go away anytime soon. Yes, if you've seen few days of the market rising, don't assume the market is going to be rising from here on. And say I will not invest, I'll wait for some correction to happen. It may take a week or two before you see a correction, or may come tomorrow, the correction. So don't try and time the market, as I always say. If you see an opportunity, keep investing and keep moving on. That is something fundamentally important. The main news, other than this, which you should keep in mind, is Tata Capital IPO seems to be making a lot of news, and that is something you should definitely keep on your radar. I myself am keeping it on my radar, and Anand is keeping it on his radar. More and more news is slowly coming about it. More details are coming about it. They plan to have the IPO launched and listed, hopefully by September 2025. That gives us a few more months before it gets into where we can subscribe to the IPO when it comes. More details are awaited. As these details come, we will share with you. And because of the Tata Capital IPO being mentioned, this could be some of the reasons why even the Tata Motors stock is going up, because Tata Motors is also somehow tied with Tata Capital. If you've been watching previous videos, you would understand how the relationship between both of them work. So other than that, in the Indian market, our usual stock list of what we always consider in pharmaceutical companies are great. If you're looking at Dr. Reddy, if you're looking at Natco, these are great companies to consider right now. Even Dr. Reddy's, if the earnings isn't great, and they're doing layoffs, as an investor, it's good, because that means the management is taking the situation climate very seriously, and they're addressing it head on by looking at making sure they're profitable and they can stay in business in the long term. So these kind of news where the layoff might be negative news to you coming, but as an investor, if you look at it, it also shows you the management is prudent in the way they're approaching the situation which we're all facing. In terms of IT stocks right now, I'd say I would stay away from IT stocks, even IT ETF. Personally, this is the approach I'm taking, because right now I don't see much clarity there in terms of what is happening with the recession that might come in the US, or, like I said previously, what is going to happen with AI. A lot of confusion is there, and I would rather wait and watch to see what happens and let the cloud settle for IT stocks as far as those are concerned. And if you look at the dollar also, the US dollar index, which I spoke about in the previous video, again is taken a correction. Though Trump has cancelled the tariffs, this kind of back and forth flip-flop which he has done has taken the shine off the dollar, and there's a lot of investors out there, hedge funds, massive, huge hedge funds, who are considering their securities being in dollars, and that has led to a lot of selling pressure of the dollar. And that's why even though Trump has withdrawn these tariffs, the dollar is still facing a lot of negative pressure and is still correcting, if you've been following that news. If you see, even gold has surged back to where it's around 3,200 plus now, and if this continues, what Trump is doing, gold will further go up, as I said in the previous video. Why? Because simply people feel nervous holding on to American securities right now, thanks to what Trump is doing. So other than American securities, the best thing to hold on is to gold. And even central banks feel that. So you will see this movement in gold. That doesn't mean you should go buy a lot of gold. If you have enough gold already and you're young, like most of my viewers are, I would say still stay in equity and don't hoard gold. If you have a lot of cash which you suddenly ran into, let's say you've suddenly got inheritance in your hand of a couple of lakhs, I would look at bonds, and there are great bonds which you can do, which you can buy, where your capital is secure and you get monthly interest or quarterly or annual interest, which you can take in turn and invest in equities again. So that way, during this kind of a turbulent market, you don't lose your capital. You can hold on to your capital and keep it secure. Because like one of you who I met in Marina Beach the other day, he said, I've worked for 5 years and I've got a lump sum amount with me, an X amount, which I don't want to mention. And he said, should I put all of it in Tiffin Coffee range? Slowly, should I invest it? So I asked him, sure, you can do that. And if you put it in Tiffin Coffee range, let's say over the next 12 months, and all of a sudden your portfolio takes a beating thanks to Donald Trump or something, and all this 4 or 5 years worth of hard work which you did, and this money which you accumulated, suddenly has become half, how would you feel? He said, I feel terrible. I said, exactly. So that's why I buy the bond and take the interest from the bond and invest in equity. That way, whatever you worked so hard to preserve it stays preserved. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you today. Tata Capital IPO is something which you should definitely keep on your radar. As the months and weeks come, as more data comes, I'll definitely be back here sharing those information with you. One final thing which I wanted to say is, I did share a WhatsApp number for people to reach out to me on the Instagram Tiffin Coffee Range group. If you wish to reach out to me, that is personally, that is my number, which you can find in the Instagram Tiffin Coffee Range. I'm not going to publish it everywhere. If you're really keen on reaching out to me, you can find my WhatsApp number in that group, and you can drop me a note on WhatsApp. Please do not call me. I cannot answer calls. As soon as I publish the number, I got hounded by calls. I know a lot of you would just like to say hi to me. I say hi back. You don't need to call to get a hi from me. And I'm doing well. For those of you who are wondering how I'm doing great. Anand is doing great. But the number is meant for if you have any questions about bonds, stocks, or anything related to investing, or you have any queries in mind which you're not being able to ask. That's the way you can drop me a message on WhatsApp. I will take time to get back to you. Please be patient, because it is me who's answering these messages. I don't have a slew of people answering messages for me. So replies will be coming slow over there, but it will be from me, and I'll try and be honest in my answers to you. Thanks for watching the video as always. Hope you had a wonderful day and hope you have a wonderful evening. See you again tomorrow as markets open with some market news, and I'll come back to you with what I'm investing. Nothing else more to say. Good night.